Coming to you from 6,224 feet in Castle Rock, Colorado.
This is Inside Castle Rock.
I'm Chris DiCillo, hospitality trainer, leadership and presentation coach, and a local resident the past 2 years.
I'm Brian Cowdery, a professional real estate agent, and I've lived in town for over a decade.
Check out our latest episode as we welcome you inside Castle Rock. We are so excited to be coming to you today with our new friend, Hunter Burns. Hunter is coming to us not only as a Castle Rock resident, but also coming to us because Hunter is the director. I want to make sure I get the verbiage on this right. He's the director of the Castle Rock Film Festival.
Sure.
Director, overlord.
Master of all things.
I prefer president in general for life.
I like that. I think that's good. We're going to President General for Life,
I like it.
The Castle Rock Film Festival.
Yeah.
But Hunter, there's a lot of layers to you, kind of like an onion.
Yeah. Like an ogre.
So many.
Like an ogre.
Yes.
You also
So
are deeply involved with CRA, with the Castle Rock Artists Alliance.
Yes.
That's how you and I originally met, because my wife and you were both members.
Yes. That's absolutely right.
And we're excited to have you here and kind of find out a little bit more about you. I loved when we sent you over kind of a list of some things to talk about. I loved some of the responses. So for our viewers to know,
Yes.
I asked him to, I said, hey, obviously name Hunter Burns.
Yeah.
I said, what's the phonetic spelling? And the phonetic spelling that he wrote back was a little hard to read. It was Kareem Abdul.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that gave
Are you sure you got that right, though?
me a little bit of flavor to who we're meeting with. And I will
Is any
say,
of this true that you actually...
Kareem, you're shorter than I expected.
Oh, thank you.
A lot shorter than I really expected.
Did you also expect me to be Caucasian?
You did not.
Fair enough.
I did not. I've seen Airplane a couple of times, and Roger, what's your vector, Victor?
Right.
I thought that was going to play in a little bit.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
But one of the things I loved as you and I were kind of connecting and going back and forth talking about today
Yes.
was part of what we wanted to really harness from this podcast was to not just find out, yes, we want to hear about the Castle Rock Artists Alliance and the film festival, but really the important thing for Brian and I is getting to meet Castle Rock residents, like real people that are here that love and are doing life and doing work in this community.
Right.
And I was really taken by when I asked you, what do you want listeners to take away from your time on the podcast?
Mhm.
So we can get this out of the way early. So if anyone's only listening to this, they'll hear it. But I thought it was really powerful. Can you kind of share with our viewers with what you shared with me?
Well, yeah. So, the Castle Rock Artists Alliance, they do many special things. We host receptions for artists. We can connect with local businesses and put local art on their walls and help them gain sales because they get a commission from each sale they make. We connect with artists. We bring together the artist community along with the other artist organization, Tri Arts Project. But, what's really special is the Veterans and First Responders Art Therapy Program.
Oh.
And that's, it's
Actually, did either.
Yeah.
so it was started right at the beginning of when we were still Castle Rock Artists Cooperative, or CRAC. And our slogan was
Perfect for a Douglas County Castle Rock.
Sorry, I still think that was the best.
Yeah.
I think it shouldn't have changed. Sorry for those that didn't go back right.
I-
It was awesome.
As the marketing chair of Artists Alliance, I really struggled to come up with a better slogan than "Get on Crack." You see, but even when
Our dollars go towards crack.
our dollars scored, no, our dollars scored toward the Veterans and First Responders Art Therapy Program, where we take, veterans and firefighters and policemen and EMTs and paramedics, and we give them the opportunity to get 3 art classes and art supplies in community with one another.
Okay.
And, it was all started by Paul Price and Nick Lucy. And Paul Price, he's actually a retired physician's assistant, and he was the CEO of an organization that specifically worked on traumatic brain injuries for veterans and PTSD. And they found when they were doing work at Fort Carson that art is so therapeutic and so helpful because you're not thinking, you're not worried about things. You're just taking a little paintbrush and you're using it on the canvas. You're not really worried what's happening. And they
It's a
found
way to kind of just remove themselves from everything and just get into a different world.
and anyone can do it. Anyone
That's
can do it.
super cool.
You can do it even if you can only move your lips, right? So
Yeah.
anyone
That's
can
a good point.
experience this.
Right.
Anyone can connect with the canvas. And they found it was so stimulating to these folks that in private life, Paul just wanted to keep doing this work. And that's what's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the wonderful thing about the film festival is, we figured out the model. So every dollar we raise goes directly to that program. Like every dollar we raise goes to art supplies and community, and we give the supplies to the veterans. They take the easel, they take the canvases and the supplies afterwards, so they can continue this journey.
Going at home.
Yeah, they can keep going at home, and until the next class when they can come back, because it's all free. They can come back as many times as they want.
Now, is this only in Castle Rock, or like how far does this expand?
We'll take them. We'll take any. We'll take
Wherever you're from, we'll,
They're coming to Castle Rock, but it happens here. But
make here in Castle.
Yeah,
Where do you do it at?
we do it at my local church.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, so like the father at my local church said, we got a spare room. You can come in and do that. And we're always looking to different veterans, and you know, if you are someone who just wants to learn to paint and you served and you think this would be helpful, come on down. It's just a bunch of friendly folks who just want to teach you to paint and, you know, connect with you. And, you know, it's not intimidating. You don't have to have any skill or any familiarity before. We'll take you.
I love that. Well, let's do this. We'll definitely put that in the link in the description.
Oh my gosh.
Have our show notes and everything. So I definitely want to get that, because if you are interested in that, definitely connect you with Hunter.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
And I think with all the different aspects of what Hunter's involved in the community, right? Castle Rock Artists Alliance, your podcast, Film Hound, the veterans program that you spoke about, like all the links will be in the link to the actual podcast.
Yeah,
that's just a great way for whether it's one of those things or several of the things that you want to find more about. Maybe you want to participate because you fall in one of those categories.
Yeah.
Or maybe, as I like to say, maybe your spiritual gift is writing a check. And if that's your spiritual gift, that's the reason they talk about time, talent, and treasure.
Right.
Some people are like, I don't have a lot of time, I don't have a lot of talent, but man, I've got money and I want to do that. And I think in Douglas County, but specifically in Castle Rock, I know we've witnessed a lot of people who say, gosh, I don't have the ability to do that, but you know what I can do is I can write a check and I can help support this organization. And I'm so excited for, as we wrap up the episode right here in the next 20 or 30 minutes, all the different resources that we're getting out to our viewers for what they can do in the 100% to get connected.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do just in your community to support veterans, especially in Douglas County, where there's a bunch of resources, and they're growing too, because we're building a new VFA hall here in Castle Rock. But you know, this is something I really truly care about, just supporting people who later lives. The new veterans hall they're building.
So gotcha.
We're always trying to strive to support the 20,000 vets in Douglas County.
That'd be a huge connection for you.
Yeah.
It'd be phenomenal.
But we want to try everything we can. So if we can do our small part, we're very happy.
Very cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I kind of feel this is great because we kind of got to the most important part.
Yeah, right up.
Could be the conversation.
Yeah.
So go ahead and turn off the video now, because
no,
this is
talking about.
Now I want to hear a little bit about it.
We're only going to be here for 2 months.
Right? You didn't know if you came out of the womb doing this.
No.
So tell us a little bit about your story and what brought you to here in Castle Rock and what you're doing.
Well, let me paint you a picture. New York, 1955. I always wanted to be a gangster. No. So I grew up.
So you came to Castle Rock, Colorado.
Yeah. This is where the mob really was.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity.
I am actually certain that Lisa is a front for the mob. It has to be. But I will have beef with them. I don't want them as a sponsor, but I'm kidding. But I grew up in Elbert County. I grew up on a tiny little sheep farm outside of Elizabeth, where, you know, I raised sheep in 4-H, and I had just one dream.
Really?
Yeah, just one big dream to make it in the movie business.
Wow.
And, you know, I went to, film school. And when I was in high school...
Did you start making any movies with the sheep?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, shockingly, I never did that.
Well, I just... No, not that type of video.
I apologize.
I'm being maligned as a guest. I came here to talk about the veterans responders aren't very...
That took a very, very different turn. Real quick, what are we drinking?
We did forget to mention, by the way. So Hunter's being very responsible because he's not only working here, but he's got work to do. So he's having coffee from Cough 33.
Of course.
What'd you grab?
Oh, a honey latte with soy milk.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Gotta get them calciums.
We can't say enough good things about Cough 33, our networking group, Connecting Over Coffee, meets there every 2 weeks. Yeah. The owners are such great supporters of this community. They will eventually be on the podcast.
They kicked me out several times because I stay past 4:30.
You and I have both done that. Yeah. But actually, what we're drinking today is we got these from Dos Santos, which is just around the corner.
Right over here.
Brian, you're drinking the house margarita?
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
And I got the coin margarita, which they had like a blood orange liqueur too. So we get a little, like, you know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is
in the afternoon.
Almost Friday. We're outside. It's nice. That's right.
Why not enjoy a little margarita?
So go to Dos Santos. Excellent margarita.
Cheers, buddy.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to you, sir.
Yeah, your empty cup.
Yeah. I've got to say, just Coffee 33, they do everything they can for the art community. And you can see some local...
There's been so much
right there.
Over there.
Right now.
Yeah.
From the CRAA.
I love that. That's awesome.
Shameless self-plug. You know, my wife, Jen, who's the Reckless Turtle, she's a glass artist.
Right.
Which makes her unique because there's just not a lot of them.
No.
And she was in there in the last rotation over the holidays. the response from people, like the pictures, the text, even the owner, it was the day that she put up her art. And he goes, look, I see this stuff all day long. He goes, I want to buy a piece before anybody else does. And it was the day she installed.
No way.
It was a really cool experience.
That's awesome.
Felt really honoring.
Yeah.
I see that they care about the community. They
really do.
really love the people in
Yeah.
it, and they see that there's something special that we do here. It's not not just a bunch of Sunday painters.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So what else can I answer for you, fine
So
gentlemen?
tell us a little bit more about, we got way sidetracked on some sheep, but now keep going. So you went to film school where?
At the Colorado Film School. It was a top 30 school when I went. When I left, it became top 40.
Oh.
But
You claim to fame.
yeah, thank you. And then when I was in high school, Elizabeth High School, we started the film program there. So we started something. It was run by a wonderful man named Dan Marcus, and we. I was in his Algebra 2 class, and I couldn't hack it. So he said that if I could write grants for the film program, I could pass the class.
Way to go, Dan. Think outside.
Right. So he was thinking he needs to drop real numbers. So I did that, and we started the film program, and he's retired, but that program has since grown into like a school news program.
Yeah.
And they make films, and I think that's more important than like say, your traditional home ec class, because like anyone can bake. You can follow a recipe. Yeah. But I think in the next 50 years, people are going to need to know how to like self-promote, and they're going to need to learn how to use a camera.
That's coming, and so much more.
Yes, and while I'm one of those people that's like bring back car shop and woodworking in schools.
Yeah, some of the trades.
Like make sure we bring in trades that are going to be applicable in the next 50 years too, like filmmaking 100%. And like home management, like taxes and things like that. But
definitely. So
I did that, and then I'm an independent filmmaker. So since I got graduated from college, COVID happened. I didn't move to LA.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. So I had my thesis film, and then I submitted that around, and then I've been making my independent feature for the last couple years, and I keep getting sidetracked with all these interesting little projects. So I made a documentary called "Painting a New Path" for the Vets and First Responders art program. I made a new film called The Seance, which is actually going to be at some really big festivals like the Salem Horror Film Festival in May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
it was just up there around Halloween. I mean, that's their Super Bowl.
That's their Super Bowl.
They don't play around in October.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, people like go to work in witch costumes. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's why.
And they have a great horror film festival. It's one of the top ones in the world, and we're shocked to get in.
You're in there?
I'm in there. So we have some great stuff going on. We're always trying to make Colorado a independent market for cinema. And when I say cinema, I mean like fellas who can, or ladies, or anyone really who can, pick up the camera, take a small amount of money, way smaller than a Hollywood budget, and make an interesting, real story.
Kind of like the budget for this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And what is Sean Baker, who's like nominated for an Oscar just this weekend, because we're filming right before the Oscars, like what did he start with the Florida Project? A iPhone that had a fancy little lens on it, and he made one of the most interesting films in the last 20 years. And now he made a Nora, Mikey Madison. He might win Best Director. He might win Best Picture and Best Actress. All from those humble beginnings.
Geez, that's
so
that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Well, one time.
Is steep and bright.
How many film festivals do you think we can get into?
Right now, the potential is huge.
I mean, we have a lot of opportunities.
Because we've done nothing.
I'm hoping for an Emmy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
A daytime Emmy.
Definitely a daytime. Nobody wants us after hours.
Right.
What I love about that is I think so many people that have experienced like really like success and greatness in a chosen field, most of them took the perspective of, I can't believe I was invited to this film festival, or I can't believe that I was invited to this, or that I was accepted to that. And I think that's such a cool aspect of it, because rarely is it the guy or gal that's like super over the top braggadocious. It's the person that's kind of humbly just chipping away, doing great work. And I love that you said that, but I also think having seen some of the snippets of your stuff at the I don't know if this is the Tri-Carney Festival or the CRA that we were at together.
Yeah.
Like your stuff is more than just like, oh my goodness, I made a film. Like you've got some real talent.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for saying that. And, I'm sure somewhere, my dad heard that and will suddenly love me. I'm kidding. My dad loves me. We have a great relationship.
We have a small audience.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's big on AM radio. You guys.
Oh, that's excellent.
That's how you're going to hit the airplane mechanic.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we're working. Yeah. Got to go to AM radio.
I love it.
He still carries around like one of those portable CD players with an antenna.
No.
He goes in airplanes with one of those playing like daytime AM radio. My dad is such a throwback, it hurts. It's like the 90s never ended.
Some of us didn't.
No. Yeah.
Boy.
When did you first get involved with the Castle Rock Film Festival and kind of being a part, more than just involved? I mean, obviously you're more than involved right now. When did that become part of your journey?
Well, that's a great question. You know, I'm a big supporter and lover of the concept and lifestyle that is Halloween. I think it should be celebrated as a religious practice. But in 2021, you know, I partnered with the bookstore and we did like a little Halloween event. And we played some movies in a church parking lot. And it was very cold. And we decided we were never going to do that again. And then the next year I said, well, we're going to do it again, but inside. And we found Nick Lucy, who is part of the Artist Alliance. And he said, tell you what, why don't you come here and you put on your little Halloween show at my studio, which was the Rhyolite Gallery. And he let us do that for free, which I was shocked. We're outside again, which is brain power right here. October.
We weren't doing this again.
Yeah. But he and it went okay. It went great. It was a Halloween show. We had a lot of fun. And then he said, why don't you learn to be inside and then do a film festival? And I said, that's crazy. That's bonkers talk. And he said, no, I think you're the person who could probably do it. And I said, okay, well then we're going to get started today. And it was January of 2023. And we had the first show in April of 2023. And we did a bunch of grassroots work. We partnered with the local magician theater here in town, the Theater of Dreams.
I had no idea we had magicians here in Castle Rock. And they do shows all the time.
Famous.
Yes.
Road magicians.
I met them the other day.
Yeah.
It was a while back. The other day.
Yeah.
A long time ago. I was like blown away. Yeah. I was like, how do we not know about this?
And that's what's crazy about Joe and Carol is that they're such like Castle Rock's best hidden secret. But
they totally are.
If you are a magician and you are testing out your big road show, like if you're gonna get hit all the big cities like New York and Toronto, you're testing your stuff out in Castle Rock.
Right.
And that's what no one knows about.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we have really great shows that probably aren't that expensive that you can take the family to.
And you're gonna see something that maybe no one has seen before and maybe some illusions that maybe won't even be on the big show once it's all done. So you're going to see some experimentation.
So this film festival has only been going on since 2023?
Yeah. So
your first year.
It's our
third year.
Now.
Okay. Gotcha.
And, you know,
it's why I probably didn't know it was going on.
Yeah.
Because Chris was like,
it makes us feel better that we didn't.
Yeah. I was like, man, how long has this been happening? But yeah.
Well,
we already knew that.
Sometimes I have to say like, our slogan for our film festival is like, Castle Rock has a film festival. And but
that's why marketing genius.
Right. Yeah. It's you know, for a town of 70,000 people, we're actually getting to the point where like people are starting to know about it. And we're working hard this year to see that, make sure everybody knows that it's not just that we have a festival. We have people in your community who are doing these wonderful things, and you can come see them, enjoy it with them, and you can be potentially part of the fun.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Now, are the people who are part of the film festival, is it only locals or?
That's the great part.
Yeah.
We are attracting international films.
Really?
We have, we have films. I think my very favorite film is like, that came from France. And it was a retelling of Frankenstein by two medical students.
Oh, nice.
And they were French and it was hilarious. It was called Mary.
Sounds horribly wonderful.
It was wonderful. It was made by this guy named Stephen Laurenson, and he lives in just the bonkers part of France, like somewhere near the Swiss Alps.
That's amazing.
And he made this wonderful film. And then
I've seen it on the map for bonkers France.
Yeah. You know, you get some wine from the bonkers region.
A lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it. I know you've been
slightly less known as bonkers.
And you know, we just have films that come from local people. We celebrate people in Castle Rock, people in Denver and Colorado Springs, and we get films from all over the world because they see that us as an emerging film market. They see Colorado as a market where they wanted people.
Yeah.
And frankly, it helps that we're like the 8th richest area in the United States. They see, if someone likes your movie, they might say, well, I have the money to make a big movie.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
Yeah, so it's attracting a lot of from that.
A lot of people think that.
People have been a part of the film festival, not only submitting films, but then also attending it in the last couple of years.
So we had sold out shows completely our first year. And, you know, we sold out shows before. We have had over 300 filmmakers submit their movies. And then, you know, it's a theater that is small. It's small. You can fit 75 people in it.
Okay.
But when 75 people come in to see your movie and they're all laughing and enjoying it, everyone gets to really enjoy that. And I think that's the thing, is that everyone loves a movie in Castle Rock. Castle Rock's for movie lovers, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your other
Virginia for lovers.
Virginia.
Castle Rock is for movie lovers.
Yeah.
Just coined that phrase, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to trademark that. And it's a little chunky, but it'll work in the middle.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So now, if someone wants to get involved this year, or they want to come see it, be a part of it, what do they need to do?
Well, you need to mark in your calendar April 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay.
There's all sorts of ticket options for you. You can go to Film Freeway, look up Castle Rock Film Festival. You'll find us. And we have 5 different great programs. We have a program for just Colorado filmmakers. That's our opening night program called Locals Only.
Okay.
And then we have something for a little bit of everyone's taste. So I love the comedy and drama hour. We're going to have April 11th. And then later that night, we have a special program called the Midnight Club. And it's for all the weird movies, all the strange ones. Chris will be there.
Yeah, for sure.
That time, but like 4 hours.
Yeah, but you're going to make
Yeah, I can make it happen.
And then we also have a wonderful program called Rising Stars. And it's for folks who maybe this is their first movie and it's really great, or maybe they're in high school or they're in college. And that's our matinee program on April 11th. And then we have something I like to call Rock the World. And it's our documentaries and music video competition. And that one is always a lot of fun. We've had musical performers who have been in music videos we've had in years past who are playing live. And we've had just a lot of different music videos from emerging artists, some who are actually getting bigger and bigger around the world. And they're just submitting their music videos to get known internationally.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
I had no idea about any, like, what a film festival was. I've never been to one. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is really cool. So you try to hit on so many different aspects of film, but different people, different levels, all kinds of genres, things like that.
Well, you got to
So they're really
for everybody.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's really something that anybody can enjoy with the film festival.
So I put Brian on the spot here for a second. So it's okay. We'll make it work. So, Brian knows I travel a lot for what I do in my day job. Yeah. And when we were talking about doing this, and more importantly about when the dates of the film festival were, because we were supposed to be recording with you next month.
Right.
We bumped it up, which is fantastic. I looked at it. I said, okay, great. I get back from a trip from work either the evening of the 9th or the morning of the 10th. And I was like, man, you and I need to go, whether we go with our wives or maybe just you and I, and go and, like, dare I say, do a live broadcast and take some photos and just.
I think it'd be super cool.
I was so excited to hear that it was in a time that I knew I could be here in Castle.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we're trying to emerge so that everybody can enjoy it. Maybe if you work late, you can go to our late night program. If you work, if you're someone who has a family and you want to go to a family friendly show, the Rising Stars is for you. And then I want to just say it like there's a movie for everyone that everyone can enjoy, and there's a filmmaker out there making something just for right here.
Love that.
And you can see what they got. And will say this: if you're a artist and maybe you're not part of the Artist Alliance, one of the benefits of being a member is that you get to go to the shows for free.
There you go. I like that.
So just remember that. Yeah. And
she's a member because she is
an artist, but she's never become a part of that.
Well, maybe she should, and you guys could get.
You have an art alliance. Yeah. You have an art alliance for people who don't like people.
For people who don't like.
Oh my gosh!
Well, that might be the best one for her. She will join that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like you cannot.
Why she's not a part of it.
You can definitely be an artist who doesn't like people. That's I believe that the term is misanthrope.
For the record, the first time I went to Brian's house, as welcoming and awesome as my friend and co-host is, his wife made me feel like we'd known each other for years.
Wonderful.
Like I walked in, she's so stinking welcoming. I just think Season doesn't want to be like Season's like, she's not a podcast about me.
Person.
She doesn't want to be in a giant.
She doesn't want the
attention.
attention.
She doesn't want the attention.
Right.
But in her home, my gosh. I was like, what's your name again? I was like, oh, I'm with Season. Like, she just made me feel like I'd always been hanging out.
Totally.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And maybe
and she happened to be painting your kitchen.
She was painting behind the fridge.
She was tucked away like a little gargoyle. It's like you put her away for the holidays.
Push the fridge in.
She goes, Brian will eventually let me come out from the painting hole that I'm in now. Yeah. That's the type of marriage they have.
And
let me out, Brian.
That's right.
She's like, I'm done. Can I?
I was thoughtful about it, at least.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you're an artist and you don't want all the attention, you can at least have the community and the ability to see what other artists are doing, and maybe some business that they're doing that might help you. So I think community is important, at least for only those reasons, even for just little silly ones like that.
100%. I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah. And then free stuff.
So talking about like, festivals or sometimes you talk about businesses, but are there other festivals or businesses in Castle Rock that you really respect, and kind of what's earned that respect from you?
Well, there's ask that question a different way. I don't understand.
And so I think about, so for example, there's restaurants I like to go to because I spend time in the restaurant space as a consultant. There's other restaurants. There's not really hotels so much in Castle Rock.
Yeah, not too many.
Spend any time in. No offense to the Best Western. But there's restaurants. There's like the Castle Rock Wine Festival. There's Oktoberfest. Are there other festivals or businesses in Castle Rock that would, like Mr. and Mrs. Burns, when you and Abby are going and spending your money, where do you like to patron? Who does a really great job, whether it's art related or not?
Well, there's three businesses that are always near and dear to my heart, and there's Union, that's just right down the street.
Oh, the American Bistro.
The American Bistro.
Yeah.
Kim, great art supporter, by the way.
Great art supporter. Love seeing what's on the walls. Kim always makes great food, and she's got chef in there who's just slapping up some great stuff for you. Yeah. And then
their cheese curds, by the way,
very good.
They're so good, and they're square.
I like
this after this.
I mean,
we're gonna go get cheese curds, and
that we've talked about it.
Stephen, Jen will be home for dinner. We're so hungry.
Man, these guys just have a date all day. But then there's Sinners and Saints, which I would say is the best cocktail in town. And then they're great art supporters, Dave and Michelle, and the whole team there. They're really working to make the town a community. They have movie nights. They have nights for all the community. They have a Dungeons and Dragons night.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're so much fun. They do everything to make sure that the town really feels like a home. And I think that's really special. And Dave, he hosts his own podcast called Immaculate Conceptions, or and it's a very, very, the community and people in it and all the things.
It's about making babies.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. But really good babies.
It's really good babies.
They're really awesome.
Top tier babies.
Yeah. Not those ugly ones.
Yeah. And then if you want community and people who put on like a great festival, you got to talk to the fine folks at Sun Fiction Bookstore and Gina, who she runs all their special events. And I was just at like their big dragon book event for my wife for Onyx Storm, and they make book release feel like a parade. And you can really communicate with book lovers and get the literati of the town.
Nice.
You can
literati.
Yeah, everyone can enjoy a little bit of a smart conversation.
Andrew, you are uncovering a part of Castle Rock I've never known existed.
Yeah, and that bookstore that's located inside Ecclesia, right?
Indeed, it is.
It's
that one. Okay,
yeah, it's like
I gotcha.
Because I miss the days of like Barnes and Noble,
sure,
and all the other bookstores used to exist. Like now we have to give our money to Jeff Bezos to pay homage.
There you go.
You can go to some. But in that, like when Jen and I discovered that bookstore, we walked in and I was like, honey, this doesn't exist everywhere.
It's okay if you throw your stuff.
I just get angry. I throw stuff too.
Yeah.
It's all part of the process. Yeah. But I was really taken with it. And as a person that works a lot in the hospitality and food and beverage space, I still love cookbooks.
Yes.
And if you go into most bookstores nowadays, the cookbook section is a little bit lackluster.
Right.
My two favorite spots are that bookstore and our library. Has a really, really robust cookbook selection.
Yeah.
And it's nice because you can take them out for 2 weeks. I'll preview them and be like, and then I usually like take a picture. I send it to Jen. I'm like, hey, for Christmas this year, this would be nice to add to the old repertoire.
Right.
And that's what's really gotten me into cooking is that, Sun Fiction will find me any book I want and they'll do it for a very, very fine price. Okay. So speaking of price, did you know Vincent Price, the old horror movie?
Yes.
He made cookbooks.
See, really?
Yes, and they're really great. I got that as a lark just one time because I was doing some research. I got
what kind of cookbook does a horror film person make?
Shocker you say that, because he was a real Renaissance man.
Okay.
So he was an art collector. He was a advocate for the LGBT community and for Native Americans. He worked in both the Eisenhower and the Kennedy administration for their arts programs.
Right.
And he traveled around the world with his wife, Mary Price, and they made like with the Sears Robot Company, which is shocking, but they made like this. yes. And they made their cookbooks. Yeah. Well, see, you could buy a real Picasso with your Sears Robot card.
Why not?
That was one of the things. That was one of the shticks.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent Price is part of that program, but he made cookbooks, and one of the best ones is A Treasury of Great Recipes. And the only reason I know to cook is because I have that book, because I got it in Sun Fiction, and I've tried things out of it all the time. I've learned anything you can do with a chicken. Vincent Price has done it, and he researched the area of France where they pioneered that technique. So this is a real Renaissance man. And that's the reason I know how to cook.
So I'm putting a calendar hold in the fact. So I love to cook. And Jen always says I love to have people over and make recipes I've never made before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a calendar hold, date to be determined, for us to have you over at our house for dinner. And you have to bring something you made from the Vincent Price cookbook.
Yeah, sure.
I'll make something from like Julia Child, Lydia Bastianich, but I want to have something from
And
the
I'll bring
Vincent Price.
something from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, here's a Stouffer's lasagna.
Yes.
It feeds 87 people.
Yeah.
And it was $22.
If you wanted large chicken pot pie, got you covered.
You guys should follow the Wishbone Kitchen method on YouTube and like do the dinner with friends thing. It's a great YouTube series where she makes a dinner party with friends.
Okay.
And she picks out from different recipes. It's just the same thing. It's just the same thing.
Hannibal Lecter did that too, right? Didn't we? Oh, we got dark real
dinner
quick.
up for it.
Hannibal Lecter, go back to the sheep video.
Yeah.
Back to you. What's our next question? All right, we got. back to the sheep. Let it go, Chris. Okay, I'd love to know a little bit more just about you and your background. Like, yes, you do the films, you went to art school, you're very involved in the community. But what else? Tell us more about who you are. What else do you do when you're not filming and helping people film? And,
what else is there to do? I spend a lot of time trying to fix my garden. And it's getting to that season.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. Lots of produce. Like, we're starting simple with spinach this year, trying to just see anything grow out of the ground. It's just very gratifying. And then, I spend a lot of time realistically just working in the arts community. But what I really love to do is, just talk about movies and film and bring people together. And that's the thing I love the most. So
awesome.
It's really the whole of my personality, and I'm sure my wife would tell you the same thing. I'm very boring in that way.
Just bleed everything film.
Everything, and I'm in the like.
Now you were telling me though before we started filming this, you volunteer, you teach, you do all kinds of things. So really, you're on every aspect of the film side of things.
Yeah, I'm really invested in building a Colorado community of filmmakers. That's I think. We talk about tax incentives with the state legislator every year about how to bring more film production, because it's and people always are poo-pooing it, being like, what a waste of federal tax dollars to give a tax credit for some schluck in his film. And I agree. But, but I think more in terms of like the jobs it brings for people who are very qualified. Like, it's not just me and my little like beret and my director's chair going like, and action. It's not just that. It's like the electrician who gets hired to light a scene, and it's the production manager who might be working on weddings as their second self-employed business, that is also an assistant director and a production coordinator and a producer, and folks who are students who are like, how do I make money? How do I learn to make money? Or like, how do I learn to be on a feasible business model? I want to help provide something for that. And, one day I'm hopeful that, more people like me will be able to just, use this beautiful location, this beautiful town and city and state, and they'll be able to say, I was able to make my movie in a place that really was authentic to the story I was telling.
You talk about sort of authenticity and a sense of place. One of the things that Brian and I, as we talked about what we wanted the podcast to be, and also what we wanted it to not be, location was really important to us.
Right.
So, we are flanked here by, we've got Dos Santos over there, which is a Mexican restaurant, which was where our drinks are from. We have Block and Bottle. Across the street is Captivate Salon, but also His and Her Barbershop, which is his barber, her salon, where I get my haircut, all this tiny little mop I have. And we're in front of the Encore building. But like, as we were thinking about places with the weather being so great, we wanted to be outside, but we also wanted each episode to be a place when you look and watch, you're like, I know where. Whether you've spent time in this courtyard, like some of the random passerbys that looked at us, there was like an older guy. He was kind of like, get off my lawn, go on out here.
Get off my condo's lawn.
Exactly.
Get off our concrete.
We wanted it to be places where people saw the video and they thought, okay, I know the people, maybe yes or no, but I know the place.
Right.
I know where you are. And I think there's such a sense of place to so many things. I liken it to when people say, gosh, don't you wish you could have New York pizza in LA? And I'm like, every time I'm like, no.
Right.
I want New York pizza in New York.
In New York.
If LA has their version, I'll have that. When I go to Chicago, I'm happy to wait like 3.5 hours for a pizza because they're making a casserole. And I think that sense of place of where we are in Castle Rock as a community actually matters.
I do think it matters. I do think that, people shouldn't just take pride in the place they live. And we have so many folks who are moving here, and this is a top destination for people to move. And I think it's not just because we're very bougie and we can take any LA transplant,
Right.
and you could be very happy here. It's that there's a bunch of independent, small businesses, people who are just like you and me, and you're every other hardworking person, and they really want to make their dreams happen.
Right.
And that's what I love about this town is that you really feel that everyone is working to making a dream happen.
Yeah.
It's not just they're trying to shill you out of money.
Sure.
Or just sell you something because it's convenient, or there's a lot of traffic. There's not a ton of traffic that stops here unless you're at the outlet mall.
Right.
I don't go to the outlet. I stay here.
Really.
A handful of those people, they're not going to be on the podcast.
Fair enough.
They're just not.
True.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's whatever. But this is a town for real people.
Yep.
And that's what I love about
That's what I was going to say too. There's just so many good, genuine people, as we've interacted with so many and met so many, and you're another one, that is part of this. Like there's something unique. And I think Castle Rock's gotten to a point where it's not just this small little town that was a little blip on the map and you just drive through it. You barely blink. I mean, I grew up in the Springs, right? And so like this was nothing, as I was growing up. Like there was McDonald's, like that's where we stopped to eat.
Yeah.
Basically, that was it. Yeah. And now it's developed and grown. It's funny. I was looking at Google Maps, even this area, this used to be like a Meineke, like right here. And like I can't remember, like a liquor store or something. And now you just see this development, the character that Castle Rock's gotten and the people it's brought because of that. It's just been amazing.
Huge.
And I don't disagree. And many people will say we should never build anything else, and we never should invest in anything.
Yeah, we got to stay the way we are, right?
And if you're on Castle Rock Talk right now, and you're gonna complain about this podcast and anything's happening in this town, I want you to look out your window and realize it's not 1982 anymore. And I would like you to present yourself into this century, perhaps by a calendar, and realize you could fill it with all the things that people are doing for you in this town.
Yeah.
Can I just ask? I would actually really like people on Castle Rock Talk to complain about us.
Sure.
Because I believe that whatever they're saying about you, as long as they're talking about you, it's good PR.
Right.
We want more people talking about this because really what it does is it invites conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody's on this side, somebody else on the other side. I always say there's 3 sides to every story. There's your opinion, his opinion, then the truth.
Right.
Like somewhere in the middle is probably where we should be. I don't want this to turn into Denver, but I also don't want this to just be like a small town that dies off.
Right.
And growth is part of, or change is part of growth.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Right.
And I'm not just saying that because my co-host is a real estate agent. By the way, reach out to Brian Cowdery for all your real estate needs. But in that, I think like it shows the fact that our town is progressing and evolving.
It is.
Right. My big thing is that you can get upset that anyone's doing anything, or you can realize that there's one of 2 options. Either a giant corporation is going to own every single business, and they're going to change the face of this place in 10 years, which they've done to plenty of towns across the world, because you didn't want to get involved with your local community. Or you can get involved today with your local people and community and your neighbors, and you can keep your money in your community, and you can keep it in a place where people are going to still benefit and have this dream.
Yeah, well said. Love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So, Hunter, can you share a secret with us about yourself that maybe only like you or you and Abby might know, something that our viewers might find interesting, or that you just think is something that most people don't know about you?
Well, oh gosh, and I'm such an open book.
Not to be PG either.
Thank you. Well, New York, 1955.
I wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Chloe.
We're not going back to the shoot as much as you want.
No, my big secret is that for 3 years, when I was in 4-H, and if you don't know what 4-H is, ask your friend who owns a cow. So for 15 years when I was in 4-H, I was the state champion in Colorado for sport fishing for 3 years in a row. And that was my big claim to fame. Is that that was a great
fish?
Hardly.
Oh,
I'm
sure Mike's youngest son wants to learn how to fish, and
Micah does.
yes, he wants to hunt and fish. And
Mike is like what I wanted.
Yeah,
he's
I have
awesome.
family enough to do any of it. I don't know how to do any of it. So I need to find somebody who can help me help him.
And the funny thing about hunting and fishing is that I don't realistically think it's about catching things. It's about the things you do while you're fishing.
Sure.
You know, even Ernest Hemingway's main character in The Old Man of the Sea, he couldn't catch anything.
Yep.
But why was he out on the ocean every day? Because it was his passion.
Yeah.
And it was what he did. And I think that if you want to learn how to fish, I wasn't a great fisherman when I started, and I wasn't a great fisherman when I was the state championship.
Right.
What I was really good about was investigating the Colorado scene for water life, and you know,
This is more about the experience of fishing than it really was the fishing itself.
and it's learning about the ecology of the place you live is important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So that's my big secret. That's like my
love
my hidden life.
Yeah,
Buried in the closet in many ways. Anything like more open to the public. I own my own coffin. Like the coffin I'm going to get buried in, I bought off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's my Halloween decoration every year. So if you drive by my house, just know I'm going to be inside of it one day, moldering, turning into a skeleton, and when I'm done, I'm going to come out.
Okay. It's not like somebody coming out.
No.
Okay, Hunter, one of the things we always do at the end of the podcast
Yeah.
is we do a speed round. These are short answer questions.
Wonderful.
So we're going to blast you through this here. So Brian and I are going to alternate. So
Yeah.
first question I'm going to take, which is favorite place to vacation.
Favorite place to vacation? Very simple. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Nice, I love it. Okay, skiing, snowboarding, sledding, or being in the lodge.
I'm bad at all four of them, but
You're bad at being in the lodge?
I trip and fall all the time. No matter where I am, I'm very clumsy. I'm going to try my hand at skiing this year.
Okay,
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Coffee, tea, or something else to kick off your day?
Coffee every day.
Every single day. From Coffee 33, by the way.
Yes, love it. Okay, when you are drinking and not working, beer, wine, cocktail, or mocktail.
Ernest Hemingway had the record in Havana for the most daiquiris with double rum and no sugar drinking at one time, and he walked home at 17. My goal is to drink 18 of them.
It's your goal. That's like a bucket list item.
Golf clap.
I walk
There you go.
We'll be here to help you not fall across the finish line.
That might get you into your coffin. That you're
Yeah.
so eager to get into.
I'm so eager.
Dogs, cats, or some sort of small animal that people consider a rodent.
Dogs, but all of them look and act like Snoopy from Peanuts.
Oh, he had the best temperament.
Yeah.
Really
Nice.
smart.
Very smart. Very
Plus,
wittiest little beagle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The big question.
Yes.
What is your favorite movie?
What is my favorite movie? I'm going to give you my Letterboxd top 4. So
Okay.
it never asked my favorite movie, but number 1, Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola in 1993. Best by far Dracula movie. Number 2, Bottoms, 2023. It's got Rachel Sennett. It's got Iowa Debris, and it's about two. This is the tagline for the movie: two ugly, untalented lesbians start a fight club, a la David Fincher. Very best movie ever.
Okay.
Subaru released their first car. I digress. Number 3.
Number 3, Muppets Christmas Carol. By far the best
Really?
Christmas movie. The first movie that Brian Henson made after Jim Henson died, and it still has that heart and spirit of the real Muppets.
Oh yeah, man.
And then number 4 is Wes Craven's Scream. Love me some Wes Craven's Scream. I'm a sucker for just like some meta humor. So that's
Love
my
it.
Letterboxd top 4.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Before we land the plane and wrap things up, you have an opportunity to ask Brian and me any question that you want. We're also an open book. I don't think anything we've been asked so far in 2 episodes that we haven't answered.
Yeah.
So what would you like to know about us?
I've been through a lot.
How much did you make on your tax returns?
Um,
I'm kidding. No.
I was made like $1 million or 2. I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was about 10 million myself.
Very good. Very good. What's your...
The inside Castle Rock tax returns.
Yeah,
We're definitely negative.
that's- yeah. The word negative $1 million.
definitely. 100%. Well, who's your favorite artists?
Oh,
I mean, I'm biased because my wife's an artist.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and it's weird because it's somebody that people know, but he did weird stuff. I just thought I got a chance to go to the Dali Museum,
Wonderful.
and I just thought the way that he saw the world, and I don't know if it was through drugs, but the way that he saw the world was so unique. And every other artist that's painted like incredible painting or had some sort of medium that I thought was really cool, Dali to me just saw things through a lens that I couldn't understand, but I really enjoyed his perspective on life and the world. And so for me, Dali has always been like a top hit.
Wonderful. And you, Brian?
man, I don't know art at all. That's my problem. So I'm going to go like real light. What's that? Far Stars. Garfield. I love.
Oh man, who doesn't love Garfield?
I know. That was my favorite. I had so many comic books.
Garfield, a
But-
man for all
So
seasons.
actually, I found them again, and my son's been flipping through them. He's been loving them. Anyway, no,
Brian also loves pizza, like
I
lasagna.
my only like So my wife's an art major, she's ceramics major, so I should know way
You
more.
didn't say your wife?
Well, yes, of course, she's my top. But outside of that, like, I don't know a lot of artists, but I've always loved, I know, like, growing up, like, Picasso and Van Gogh, those types of styles. I loved abstract art for whatever reason. I just thought it was fascinating.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with a little anecdote, and maybe this will give me the whole film festival vibe.
Love it.
Salvador Dali, he was going to be in Dune, in the original Dune, before David Lynch, before Ridley Scott. They were going to give it to this Mexican director named Jodorowsky. And he was like, I'm going to make a 10-hour movie. The script was 1,500 pages. And who is going to play the Emperor? And think about the Emperor in Dune.
Yeah.
It has to be the weirdest guy you can think of. Because, like, I'll be honest, when in Dune Part 2, I didn't know who was going to play the Emperor. And then Christopher Walken went out, and I literally went, what the fuck? In a giant IMAX theater.
Yes.
So Salvador Dali playing the Emperor in a Dune movie that was never made is like my Roman Empire. I really wish it had happened. I wish I could seen it. I would have watched all 10 hours. The big thing why it didn't happen is he wanted to be the highest paid actor in Hollywood. He wanted $1 million or no, $100,000 per hour.
Wow.
Per hour. So
interesting.
That's that Dali money bank going out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hunter, this has been so cool to get to know you. I feel like we could talk for hours and hours and just come up with way more things to go through. But we're just really excited for you and your film festival coming up. If you want to know more about it, we'll have all the links in the episode notes down below. And Hunter, you are officially in Castle Rock Insider.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. And I've been neglected so long and excluded.
Yeah.
Well,
another reason your dad can love you even more now.
Tell you what, and if anyone wants to get tickets for the film festival, they can look it up on Film Freeway. But I'll give you one little hint. If you send me a message on Instagram that you heard the Castle Rock Insider podcast and you want to buy your tickets, and you message us on the Instagram, we will give you 2 free tickets for one of my favorite programs called the Rising Stars.
Rising Stars.
You have to be the first person to do it. You have to be the first person to do it. But if you follow the Castle Rock Insider podcast and you follow the Castle Rock Film Festival, you get those tickets, message me. I'll check. I'll be the person to check. And then you will receive those beautiful tickets. They're actual tickets with real artwork that we made. So
that's phenomenal.
You get a little piece of Castle Rock along the way.
Thanks for tuning in today to episode 3 with Hunter Burns and the Castle Rock Film Festival. Have a great day, Castle Rock.
See ya.
That brings us to the end of another episode and a great conversation.
We hope you enjoyed getting to learn more about our community and the people of our town.
If you want to become a Castle Rock Insider, all you have to do is like that video that you just watched and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We're also on all the social media channels. You can find us there or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time inside Castle Rock.